Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Let's bow our heads for a word of prayer. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We ask you to look over and bless this board and make decisions that's good for all of the people in Union County and surrounding area. We ask you to protect our first responders and our sheriff's deputies every day that they get home safely. These things we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lance, would you do the roll call, please?
Commissioner Harville,
Here.
Commissioner Pitts, Commissioner Miller,
Here.
Commissioner Bierstadt,
Here.
Commissioner Gould.
Having a quorum, I'll call the meeting to order. First item, approval of minutes from regular meeting, July 14th. Everybody have a chance to look at those? Any additions or deletions? Make a motion.
I'll say that.
Commissioner Harville,
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Bierstadt,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Public comments. Everybody pretty well employed here. Building for committee reports.
Well, we had our hoop meeting the other evening, and we approved a grant for $14,500 to the Cabin Rentals in Southern Illinois Association. And let me read you a quick little statement that's on their brochure. It said they promote lodging in Union County, and it's a win-win situation for the whole county. They increase merchants' revenue, increase sales tax, generates jobs, generates new business opportunities, increase lifestyle, and gives our tourists an excellent experience visiting our county. And so we approved it for $14,500, and they have not applied for one in a few years now. So if you average it out, it wouldn't be as much as that. So, but anyway, we did approve it, and our budget would more than cover that. So.
We received that, yes.
We did. We received it yesterday, so I let them know it'd be on the next agenda.
Oh, I've got a little something here on animal control, little movement report from June the 1st till July 27th. We've taken a total of 31 animals in, and we've moved 40 out. You know, it's through adoption, rescue, reclaim, and things like that. And it just, a lot of that gap between 31 and 40 was all the puppies that we had in the spring. We were loaded with puppies. So, and actually our numbers are kind of stable a little bit. So getting better.
I will add a side note to that. We're waiting from the architect to get the final specs as far as, I mean, we've got the drawing, but we'll have the actual specs for building, what they say, November, maybe, October, November.
He thought that it would be October before he had the finalized drawings, and the RFP ready.
Right.
So,
Maybe we'll be moving on that whenever we can. Anybody else? Building permits?
you have one. It is parcel number 082506168B7 at 160 Timber Ridge Lane in Jonesboro for Brandon Hunter. It's a new modular home, no floodplain, previously subdivided and recommended for approval.
Oh, yeah. Any questions on the building permit? The motion to approve.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Harville?
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Bierstadt?
Yes.
Commissioner Gould?
Nothing under old business, move on to new business, approve payment of bills, everybody had a chance to look at the bill list. Any questions?
Second that.
No.
I'm sorry, who made the motion? Okay. Commissioner Harville?
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Bierstadt?
Yes.
Commissioner Gould?
Yes.
Item B, acceptance of 2022 bond disclosure report. You're up.
I'm up. Got copies of the report for everybody. I just had to. No, that's okay.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you. You're welcome. Anybody else?
I'll take one, please.
Killed a small tree for it, so. Anybody else? Good.
Tyler, do you want
I'll take one? Yeah. Okay. One for me. Okay, well, thank you all for letting me come back again this year. I think this is the 5th or 6th year in a row we've been doing this after we underwrote the bonds in 2019 and refinanced the bonds we underwrote to build this building we're in today. You know, nearly, I guess, 14 years ago. It's been that long. But this report is a requirement by the county on an annual basis within 210 days of your fiscal year end, which you all know is November 30th of any given year, which puts you at the end of June 26th. You know, if we've got a leap year, then that moves to June 25th. But June 26th is when this report's due on the MSRB's EMMA website. As a quick reminder, refresher, the MSRB is the Municipal Securities Rulemaking Board. EMMA stands for Electronic Municipal Market Access, all governed by the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission. I'm done with acronyms, I promise. But in any event, this report is, you know, it's very informational. It's got a lot of context about the county in it. You know, as you scroll through here, you'll notice a lot of historical data going as far back to the early 1990s with population trends, median home values, median family income. You know, just a couple of things I wanted to highlight with respect to the outstanding debt. If you pull to page, page 6 real quick, at the very top of page 6, this is the county's legal debt margin, or credit card limit, as I like to call it. Governed by the feds, you're allowed to borrow up to 2.875% of your equalized assessed valuation. Okay, and as of this time, that EAV is equivalent to about $243 million. So extrapolate that out, that gives you a legal debt margin, or again, credit card limit of roughly $7 million. However, the only debt applicable to that is that paid from property taxes. You guys are all aware that this building here is being financed by the safety tax that was implemented back in 2010. So those bonds are exclusive of that credit card limit. Okay, which is why at the very bottom there, their available legal debt margin, you'll notice you still have $6.3 million remaining in legal debt margin. Okay, with the knowance of $10.7 million remaining on the debt that was issued in 2010 and again refinanced in 2019. If you pull to page 7 real quick, here's the remaining principal and interest payments on the 2014 bonds and the 2019 bonds. Last year we ran an analysis that looked at the county's annual collection of the public safety tax and then what the repayment is on the actual bonds from 2019 on. Currently, you guys are repaying about $800,000 or so per year in debt service on the 2019 bonds, and you're collecting, I believe, just over $1 million still, are you not? On an annualized basis. So that accumulation of funds above and beyond what's required to pay debt service is building in an account at Zions Bank that you all are aware of. And as last calculated, you had just under $4 million sitting in that account there. And the idea would be there's going to be a point in time where that account is going to accumulate at Zion's Bank, which is, as a refresher, again, is the institution who's holding the monies and actually paying bondholders every 6 months when you guys make your payments. Okay, they're the third-party administrator that keeps track of the hundreds or thousands of investors that actually own these bonds. We don't own them, we just help you find the investors that gave you the money to build the place. Okay, so as that account at Zion's Bank accumulates, at a point in time, it's going to accumulate to an amount equal to what you owe or what's remaining on the outstanding debt. And when we ran this analysis last year, 2033 would be the year in which, if you collected continuously that $1 million per year and grew that account by 200 to 250 grand per year, 2033 would be that point in time when you're able to pay those bonds off completely. Again, just a reminder, these bonds are currently set to mature in 2042. So that means you'd be paying this debt off 9 years earlier than originally anticipated, 13 years ago. So kudos for you, kudos to the county, kudos to the people spending the money here. It's allowed you to, accumulate excess dollars above and beyond what you owe in principal and interest annually.
What's the unofficial projection now?
Well, 2033, we're only a year, we collected 250 grand more, right, in just a year. Now, the caveat to that is not, that account now is earning a little bit more, well, I should say a lot more than in interest than it has been since 2010, right? Interest rates were virtually zero the last 12 years. Now with the Federal Reserve doing what it's been doing with increasing the Fed funds rate, that means any cash accounts or investments like this are able to earn a little bit more. So that account's just going to grow by that much more on an annualized basis to the tune of maybe 2-3% more annually, which could cut maybe a year, possibly 2 years off, which means 2031 becomes maybe the magic target. Which means I've only got 8 more years of coming down your annual.
There you go. I'm gonna project sooner than that, but that's unofficial.
Yeah, well, hopefully that's the case. And there will be a point in time when you're able to refinance those bonds again, sooner than that. 2027, I believe, is the redemption date on those bonds. Where we financed them back in 2019, I remember we were in the 2% range. It's going to be tough getting those rates again, right? And if we do get those rates again, we may have bigger issues to worry about than refinancing a bond issue. But anyway, that's just a little food for thought. We covered that last year, and I wanted to make sure you guys kind of understood where you were at. Everything else, I've gone through this report at length, looks pretty good. We pulled up page 11 real quick. What we do here is break down the county's, that equalized assessed valuation of the county's net worth, essentially, by property type. We break it down by farm, residential, commercial, industrial, railroad. So you can see there, dating back to 2018, what those certain values were. 2018, for instance, all the farm value here in the county was $63 million. Currently, it's $78 million. Okay, so it's grown, nicely. Roughly, what would that be, 30% or so in just 5 years? That's pretty good. Residential, it's grown, about $14 million or roughly 10-11% in the last 5 years. Commercial, has risen about, again, 10 to 15%. Industrial and railroad stayed about the same. Well, railroad's gone up a little bit there. Farm values have really increased, and that's no different than what we've been seeing statewide. I live up in LaSalle County, which is 6 hours straight north of here, and farm values up there have done, they've kept on that same accelerated pace, as has the rest of the state. Let's see, pages, go to page 12 real quick. Another thing that's always nice to point out, and as a reminder to your taxpayers, that very top chart on page 12, this is the county's tax rate, broken down by fund. So the various things that you levy for on an annualized basis, whether it be the corporate fund for health, Social Security, TV, sanitary, IMRF, harbor, you name it. It's nice to look back historically again on a 5-year rolling basis, what your tax rate was back in 18 relative to where it is now. So for the last couple of years, you've been about $1.40 or so. On a multiplier, and currently you're at 1.39. So your tax rate has gone down, right? So you've done your job of keeping taxes, your rate about the same or going down on an annual basis. What the value of someone's home is really dictates how much they pay at the end of the day in real estate tax. And that's unfortunately, well, fortunately for you, not up to you guys. That's up to the county assessor.
Be sure you get that, Jeff.
I'm just showing that. I'm just circling it for him.
Not to point anything out to anybody, but you're doing a good job of holding taxes pretty good. The bottom chart there, a representative tax rate. So what this simply shows, an investor who may or may not want to buy the county's bonds, is what's a normal total tax rate for someone living in Union County. And so here we're looking at not only the county's tax rate of $1.39, but the road district, and a 37, the high school, the college, all combined about $8. Okay, so again, back in 18 where it was 786, that trend kind of flipped upward until last year where it was $8. Now it's at 7.79, right? So that dropped 20 cents, which is a good thing. Page 13, real quick. I drove 6 hours, guys. I'm gonna talk as long as I want. I'm kidding. Page 13, the belly part of that page, your largest county taxpayers. We like to show this chart, and well, we're required to show the chart, but it's also nice to show diversification among your taxpayers. Of the top 10 largest county taxpayers currently, they encompass 3.73% of that EAV, that 243 million amount. Okay, so that's a really good thing. That's a low percentage, and that's what you want, is diversification among taxpayers. Sometimes we see counties in particular, especially up in the Collier County region, where they've got taxpayers that are equal to 10, 20, 30% of their total EAV. What that would represent potentially to an investor is, if that company were to move out of town or collapse for whatever reason, that would possibly put a lot of financial stress on that county's budget as well as any other taxing bodies. So again, here, the key word is diversification among your taxpayers, and that's what this chart represents.
Who is WGP Real Estate, so everybody knows?
WGP Real Estate.
It's a wellness group.
Yeah.
Wellness, okay.
Can I ask a question while we're on that? I mean, I noticed they were on this chart, which I figured they would be.
Mhm.
Why are they not on the employment listing as far as number of employees in the county?
Top 10 largest employers? That's a good question.
Is it too soon for them?
Are they not on there? How many employees do they have, Matt?
I'm not sure now. I mean, I'm thinking it's pushing like 300.
I say 225 at one point.
Yeah.
Oh, that money?
Yeah.
Well, according to if you pull back to page 4, according to the 2022 manufacturers directory, I don't see them on this list here. Flam Orchards would be the largest.
Yeah, that's why I was asking. When I saw them on the one list, I wondered why they weren't on the employment list.
Well, it's a good question. That's something.
When this is ultimately the information, they didn't really hire. They had the buildings.
2022 they did. That was just last
Yeah, but
year.
not very many.
Was this a newer building?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
the original building's been there for a few years. They've added on twice.
Okay.
But a year ago,
They at least had 38 employees.
I mean, they had more than that. I mean,
Okay.
the parking lot's full, so.
Yeah. I'm not sure why. That's a report we grabbed from their website. 2022 is when they submitted that information or when they released it. So that could have meant that they could have grabbed data from 20 or 21
That's
potentially.
what I was wondering, if
Yeah.
it was data from.
Do you think it has to do with not paying federal? Because of what they're doing, does it have anything to do with that?
Being a non-for-profit.
Well, no, it's federally, they can't
It's not legal.
sell weed illegally, the marijuana or whatever,
Oh,
because
That information was coming off the
federal website, they probably don't report to them.
maybe not. That could be
I
why.
think that's probably why you're not seeing
Yeah,
that.
I wondered about that.
That could be.
Because, yeah, they can't deposit money, they can't,
Right.
all kinds of issues that they can't do, I would say.
Take the
that's-
back alleys all the way up to the Fed in St. Louis. Yeah.
I'll remain quiet on that, but I would bet that has to.
I think I know the answer, but why isn't, Shope on this list?
Why is it? Well, who-
Shope Mental Health, how come it's not on the list of largest area employers?
Well-
Run.
It's manufacturing, that we were just asking.
Oh,
Yeah, this is.
Sorry,
This is
no, you're fine.
we had, I think
Well-
Warren's had the same question.
This report or this list is not produced by us. It's grabbed from the 2022 Illinois Manufacturers Directory. I don't know why.
They don't
Not a
manufacture.
manufacturer. Yeah.
I knew the answer, I was just making mention that
Yeah.
our largest employers wasn't included.
Okay. Let's see.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Is that because Choate doesn't pay taxes? Are they tax exempt? Is that why? Because this is covering people who manufacture and they pay taxes? Is that why they're not included in these reports?
They don't manufacture.
It says
Right, in fact,
manufactured.
they're not included in
Yeah,
taxes
service,
either.
Yeah.
Remind me what Choate does.
It's a mental health
Mental
facility
health,
by
okay.
the
State
Department of
hospital.
Public Health.
Okay.
It's a
So I wondered
state,
if they're
not an
taxed.
agency.
Yeah, they don't pay property taxes.
Well, that's what I'm
Yeah.
wondering, if they just, we don't collect taxes on it, that's why it's not included in
Could
the
be.
report. So it wouldn't, but it wouldn't it matter to an investor though?
It would.
Because it's a big.
Yeah.
Either positively or negative.
But the same thing with the AAA rating. A lot of this has already been calculated into this report. Correct.
Mm-hmm. So the
The investors, just look, as much as anything is bad, I would think.
Yeah, I agree.
well, it sounds like someone needs to give, who's that, the only manufacturer directly a call. And pose a few questions and then, so let's see here, just to kind of wrap up the report, pages 14 and 15, get into the financials of the county. Again, 2018, did you have another question?
No.
Oh, 2018 to 2022, just real quickly, page 14, the balance sheet of the general fund specifically. Again, 2018 to 2022, you can kind of see where cash is, your receipts, your payables, and things of that sort. Moving over to page 15, the P&L or income statement for the general fund, revenues, expenditures, transfers in, transfers out on an annualized basis. The good part and the good trend for both of these charts is that it's upward, right? You've been adding to your cash balances. Year over year, you're making money. I don't want to say that too loudly, even though the door is closed, but keep up the good work, I guess is the moral of that story.
In your opinion, off the record, again, per capita, I mean, I know you deal with entities all over. How does Union County stack up with other counties that are basically our size, population-wise, and all of this, as far as
Well, way to really
bottom line numbers?
keeping my opinion aside, which is a good opinion, really the basis for that, Max, would be your credit rating, right? Because that keeps all the intangibles all out of it and focuses on the socioeconomic and the financial, the hard data that these people have to go up. So Standard & Poor's currently rates the county. You're in the high A category, and that puts you on par with, I would say, 75% of the other counties in the state, which is about 75 counties. There's 102 total, leaving Cook County out of it, and the surrounding Collier counties. I would say you're above average as far as your financial profile, your financial management assessment, and the demographic information that they look at. Going back to 2010, honestly, I couldn't say that same thing, but the county's come a long way since then.
I agree. I mean, and I just wanted to hear that from you. I mean, I felt that way, and looking at the reports every year, it seems to indicate that. I mean, we get a lot of BS on the street about how poor Union County is, and it's going down the tubes, and nothing really positive. And I just wanted to hear that from you on the record, and, we lose a little population every year. Hell, everybody does, unless it's just a monstrous thriving county.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, Union County is good
I would agree with that.
financially and otherwise.
I would agree with that. That is the 2022 bond disclosure report.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You have at least 30 more minutes.
30 more?
Yeah, you drove 6 hours.
Yeah, you drove 6 hours. You got at least
Look
30
at
minutes.
what you got.
We'll go back and start back on page 1.
Yep, all right. What I missed.
Appreciate it, look forward to it
Yeah.
every year, it's a lot of great information.
A lot of good stuff. I think Angie puts it on your guys' website, right? So you can easily pull off of it. You don't have to go through that big alphabetical soup that I talked about earlier with the acronyms. It's easily accessible for anyone in the county that wanted to look at it.
The public can't see it.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Do we need to make a motion to approve this? I make a motion that we accept the 2022 bond disclosure report as presented. Second.
Commissioner Harville,
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Bierstadt,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Again, thank you much, appreciate it. Look
You're welcome.
forward to it.
Thanks for having me. I'll
Make
see you
one
guys.
statement, John really works hard for us too. He's not just sitting back there bringing us once a year these sets of numbers. He and I communicate, several times every 6 months,
Mhm.
so.
No, they do a great job. They also remind Lee and I when it's time, like, it's time to start sending information, which we have it wrote down, but it always helps to have a
Yeah.
reminder.
Well, you got a county to run, leave it to me and, hey, give me that, give me this. So, anyway,
Very good.
okay,
Thanks
I'll
much.
see you guys next year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Safe trip back.
Thank you very much.
Item C, resolution appointing chairman and Union County appointees and Jonesboro Water Commission. Received a letter from the Water Commission, asking that we accept the recommendation for Jeff Denny to be appointed to the Anna Jonesboro Water Commission Board of Union County. This is due to the passing of Mr. Brad Reynolman, who left the vacancy on the board. Talked to Mr. Denny about this. They've talked to him, he's willing to serve and so forth. There's no problems with him serving, as he is an employee of the county. He's not an elected official, so I make a motion that we accept their recommendation and appoint Jeff Denny to the Union County Anna Jonesboro Water Commission. I'll second it.
Commissioner Harville,
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Bierstadt,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Yes.
I'm not gonna read the resolution. As usual. So. Next item, resolution relating to participation by elected officials in the Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund. We do this
Every year.
Every 2 years.
Every 2 years. Again, as I call it, it's a housekeeping. It's a list of the elected officials, years, whenever they became qualified and so forth. Any questions on this? I make a motion that we approve the resolution relating to participation by elected officials in the Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund.
Commissioner Harville,
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Bierstadt,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Yes.
Last item, we were asked, we did this, I think, last year, September 17th, 2023, will start Constitutional Week. We are asked to do a proclamation for Constitutional Week 2023. Any questions or objections to this?
What technically is it? Just to get together, make sure that celebration is reading.
I think our citizens want to celebrate it every day of the year.
But I think this is a national.
It's a national
So it's not just
week.
us.
It's even the local groups get involved in it and so forth. I'm not gonna read this whole proclamation, but, whereas September 17th, 2023 marks 235th anniversary of drafting the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention. Therefore, I, Max Miller, Chairman of Union County, hereby proclaim September 17th through 23rd, 2023 to be Constitutional Week.
Make a motion.
Second.
Commissioner Harville?
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes,
Commissioner Bierce?
Yes.
Commissioner Gould?
Yes.
everything on the agenda.
She asked to get a picture of you guys holding that up
Okay.
to advertise that, so after the meeting, we can, you guys get together and get a picture.
Got anything to go into executive session for? Buddy? Other business?
The ambulance service held a food drive Saturday. We were able to donate a full ambulance load of food and nearly $400 in cash to the Shawnee Development Council Food Bank out here in Show.
Good deal.
Good
Are
job.
you guys getting very many heat-related calls right now?
Hopefully not. Hopefully not.
Cleve, was that advertised anywhere?
Yes, we advertised that online and put out flyers at Walmart.
You might put it on social media,
Yeah, we had it on Facebook.
or they should see it, so. We've gotten brought some over.
Yeah, we had some issues with Walmart and we had to wait till they approved the spot before we could advertise.
And if I can, just briefly to our horn in the clerk's office, we received our grant. We were approved for a grant again from the Supreme Court Access to Justice Committee. So we received $13,391, which will go towards the support of having a Justice Corps volunteer come in to our courthouse and work with the public 3 times a month. And then it will also help with our app, which brings me to the next thing. So people who haven't seen it yet, we had a great write-up in the pub that we have a circuit clerk app that you can download to any phone, and it gives you access to our office. You can check the court docket, you can pay your fines and fees, you can reach out to the public defender's office. It is basically on your phone access to the court system via the app. So the Access to Justice grant helped us pay for it and maintain it, and our other grant, technology grant that we received, over don't quote me on this, $135,000 over the last 2 years, which has helped to upgrade the courthouse as well as my office. So we're really excited about the second year of that grant from the Supreme Court, and we're grateful for that.
Is it a one-time fee for that app, or do you have to pay for the fee?
There's a one-time cost to create the app, which was paid for by the Supreme Court Technology Grant. And then there is a maintenance fee that comes up every year that, if I can say something about this company, it's a bunch of young kids, American, made in America. It's designed by American kids. They went to college at Alabama, Roll Tide, and Georgia. And they're just a young group of kids that got together, and it's a great idea to help. They've been awesome, and they just basically make it super easy and friendly for people like me and offices like ours to be able to do it. I think it's a great asset. I think it'd be great if we did it pretty much in every government department, honestly. It's been a great thing. But yes, there's a maintenance fee yearly to keep it going, basically, and then you just kind of tell them what to do and they create it for you. So.
But there's no fee for the end user, like
No,
you can
No,
have,
yeah, I just,
like,
we pay like
No.
$500 a year to have the maintenance fee based.
Yeah, the grant pays the maintenance
Gotcha.
on it, and I also have fines and fees that come in too, so if I were not to receive it, it's manageable from an attorney's perspective.
Budgetable.
Yes, so, and the people love it, they use it a lot, I get a lot of people who love the docket, they're like, oh, I get to see and they can keep track of things, so I've gotten a lot of great feedback on it, so. people use it, that's for sure.
First tax bills were paid.
Busy 2 weeks, then we're processing the banks and the mail, so probably not next week, but the next week, I will be processing the first distribution, which will be way before school starts.
Wow, that's amazing.
Good job.
Anything else, anybody?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Maybe you guys want to stay a little.
Commissioner Harville,
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Bierstadt.
Yes.
Mr. Gould.